that broken? Greetings and salutations, mappers, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney. Last time, we coerced, I guess, the Skulkin brothers to reveal that I had a third accomplice. Or I guess a accomplice, because there are two guys already. Anyways, we also learned that the green blood on the calendar was the blood that belonged to one Eggert Benedict, false name, and that he was a communication officer. So let's go hunt this guy down. We took a brief recess to bring him in. 17th April, 12:41 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Ah, Gina. How are you holding up? I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards her frequent cold shoulders now.
Ginny, are you alright? Why aren't you saying anything? What's the point, Why go to all of this trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me? What? Well, you saw it. That picture.
What picture? There are a lot of pictures. Oh, I knocked something over.
Ah, you mean this? The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed recorder. Well, I didn't think it would have captured a scene like this, that's for sure. It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that is gonna think I did it, ain't they?
Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court.
Surely you've got to have your doubts about me now. You can't still think I'm innocent.
Of course I can.
Ginny, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night. Eh? Bruno's cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, we'd really like to hear it from you. Alright then. It was after we'd had the dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then, we all had a chat up in your office, didn't we?
Yes, I remember.
After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped out and went down the street to the 2-to-1. To Winterbank's place. I had to know if Iris' story was there or not. The Hound of the Baskervilles. I don't know what's about or nothing. But if you ask me, there's something that Sholmes. But if you ask me, there's something in it that Sholmes don't like. Something what he don't want people reading. So that's why he lied about Iris, about sticking it in lug with Winterbank for safekeeping.
God damn this. Oh, time you speak is really hard for me to keep up.
At least, that's what I thought at the time.
So you broke into Windybank's?
I just had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea all of that was gonna kick off, did I? I struck the lock and snuck inside. It was dark as you're like in there. So I gave the oil lamp on the counter a bit of a wick. And that's when...
What do you think you're doing? Arrgh!
I nearly died, I did. The next thing I knew... I grabbed the gun off the counter and was waving it in the air like... I don't know what.
Ah, you're the girl who was in here this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery.
The manuscript. Have you got it here? Did Sholmes leave a load of papers with you? A story?
I beg your pardon?
The hound or the something or other. If it's there, I want to see it.
I'm sorry, young lady, but I'd sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers.
I don't want it. What would I do with it anyway? I just want to see it here, that's all.
Oh, you want to see it, do you?
I want to know if Sholmes really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see it, and I'll go.
Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you?
So then, the old cove unlocked the storeroom door, and we both went inside. And it was there alright. The manuscript. Sholmes weren't lying after all. You did all that just to check for me, Ginny. Anyway, then there was a bit of a kick-up out in the main bit of the shop.
The Skulkin brothers arriving on the scene, yes.
What was that noise? Someone's breaking in.
Dear me, is there some burglars convention here tonight that I don't know about?
I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. Sorry.
I'd better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back?
Oh, well, I'll come with you and...
Now don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances.
And with that, he took the gun out of my hands and walked back out into the shop. I hung back in the storeroom, like he said, straight in my ears, in the dark, to hear what was going on. It sounded like they got into a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help. See? So I was just about to go out to the storeroom myself, when...
2 shots.
I heard a couple of shots go off. 2, I think. Almost at the same time. And then there he was, lying at my feet, lying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it shut and locked it as quick as you like.
Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. Windybank might come for you?
Yeah, so I went to grab the old cove's gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Windybank was a goner. I felt funny in my head all of a sudden, kind of dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing.
That must be when you passed out, Gina.
If I hadn't done what I done, the old cove might still be alive.
Did you tell the police everything you just told us?
Of course I did. But they didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was, if I kept telling lies, it makes things even worse for me. You'll be alright, Ginny. Don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Runa's about to put the real culprit through the mill. That cove, what was in there in the afternoon, was there in the afternoon. That's Egbert Benedict. I still remember how he looked at me, like I was nothing. He He was there that night. We don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what? You can leave it all in Runo's capable hands now, Genie. Mr. Naruto. Yes? How come you trust me? I don't get it. I mean, have you forgotten what happened here before? Come on. It was only 2 months ago. Me and McGilded, we told you a whole pack of lies. And you got the bugger trot off with him, even though he was a killer. No. I can never forget that. Oh. I did what I thought was best at the time. But the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what. But what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the hook, for all you know. I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in the trial. You were? Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe me. I was sure that no one would believe it wasn't me who done it. Oh, Luno. But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me. My best friend.
Runosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me, and I'll do the rest.
I was so happy. I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me, I couldn't help thinking, surely, he doesn't really believe in me. Not completely. But I was wrong. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute, unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute, unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first. What are you saying? I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down. Even though I'm a diver, and a no good liar. You're not like McGilded. I know that. Eh? That's right. You're a friend, Ginny. Alice. We know you better than you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust. Yes. That's really all we need to know. Exactly. Mr. Naruto, I...
Defendant Gina Lestrade and her legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head into the courtroom immediately. Yes, of course. Thank you.
I've been both a defendant and an offending lawyer in my time. So I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all their faith in you. This is it at last. The final chapter. The final battle. Wish me luck, Susao-san. And I hope you're watching over me too, partner.
th April, 1:41 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. I hereby call this court to order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Lord Van Zeeks, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness? The subpoena was delivered to the communication station where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem. I see. Then let's turn all our attention to Inspector Grigson's presence of the case heard by the court this morning. The glaring omission of the third bullet in your report is a serious blunder, Inspector. Yes. I can only apologize, my lord. And although the defense's chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes for a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courtroom.
It's a big mistake to trust Hurley and me. A very big mistake.
My lord, the subpoenaed witness has just arrived in the building. Thank you, officer. Show him to the witness stand without delay.
Mr. Edgar Benedict. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon. It's certainly not like this.
Thank you for complying with the court's subpoena at Thank you for complying with the court's subpoena at such short notice, sir. But of course, my lord, as an upstanding member of London society, it is my pleasure to oblige. Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record. Ashley Graydon, Communication Officer. Mr. Graydon and I both work at London's Central Communication Station. Now, perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about. You were apprised of the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presume. Yes, I was. Something to do with a murder that took place at pawnbrokers on Baker Street. And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. That is the accusation, indeed. This really is beyond a joke, you know. Very well. Without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon. You will respond to the accusation made against you under oath. Gladly, my lord, gladly. The accusation. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbrokering services from time to time. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation, even if certain parties here claim that my blood was found at the scene. Some Scaramouche detective's homebrewed tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence. How do you pronounce that? So, you deny the accusation completely, do you? I must say, I am dismayed. for the highest court in the land to be swayed by this self-professed detective's toy. It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury's will is upheld. Then it would seem we have the misfortune of a most inept assembly of jurors today. By golly! How long am I expected to be detained here? If, following the defense's cross-examination, your involvement in this matter has not been established, you will be free to leave immediately. Good. Then I shall be away in time for afternoon tea. Some small consolation at least. Let's not hold up Mr. Graydon any longer than necessary. Counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. So, me again, Mr. Egbert Benedict? Or is it Mr. Graydon? My apologies, you are... Renoski Naruhodo, defense lawyer. We have met. If you say so. Ashley Graydon. Enchanté. So... Ah! I trust we can conclude this quickly. Ugh. But I'm not holding your flashy hat while we do. Cross-examination! The accusation. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time. Hold it! Yes, we've been met in the very pawnbrokery where the crime took place on the afternoon of the day in question. Though, of course, you introduced yourself by a different name at the time. It was Mr. Egbert Benedict, I believe.
Objection!
Tell me, what made you... The witness is here to testify about events that took place that night. He is under no obligation to answer such unrelated questions. You can't be serious. Thank you, because I certainly do not feel inclined to answer such an inappropriate question. So he's going to be evasive, is he? An effort not to give anything away. This could be tricky. But are you seriously suggesting that I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? Hold it! Have you seen these two men before? This pair? No, I don't associate with criminals. Said by a man who introduced himself as Egbert Benedict. I'd like to know who I have to thank for this. Who made this outlandish accusation against me? The young lawyer there in the black. This is a farce. Whose idea was it to permit an outsider to work in the British court anyway? Ah, classic racism. Well, needless to say, I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation. Hold it! Where were you at around 1 in the morning on the night in question, sir? That is past the hour at which I would normally retire. Certainly. I was not in the company of these rapscallions. You're able to prove that?
Objection!
Listen carefully, my learned Nipponese friend, for you appear to be under a gross misapprehension on this point. What do you mean? The witness maintains he was not at the scene of the crime. He has no obligation to prove his absence. If your accusation is that the witness was present at the scene, the obligation lies with you to prove your assertion. You will fulfill that obligation before putting any more unreasonable questions to the witness. A silent victory wiggle. Thanks. Even if certain parties here present claim that my blood was found at the scene.
Hold it! Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Sholmes' chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such.
But I am not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I? How can we be sure that the blood is mine? It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants.
Every individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Sholmes' chemical is able to differentiate differences.
Spare me the science lesson. Who is this Sholmes character anyway?
Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name. He's a renowned detective.
So, even you are unable to bring yourself to say great detective. A great detective, you say? Now we're in the realm of fairy tales, are we?
Excuse me! Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin?
Eh? What? Me?
No, Mr. Skulkin next to you.
What? I've had up to here of all this. How many times I gotta tell you?
Yes, I know. You're not Big Bruv Skulky. Mr. Nash Skulkin. Goddamn. God blimey, governor. You what? Is it not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind? Would you care to share that thought with the court? Any thoughts? I don't have none of them. It must have been him.
You what?
Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Graydon just spoke? Nothing. Honest, Gov. Nothing. I was just thinking, if he waves his arm around like that much more, it'll open up the wound again. That's all. What wound? Where he took the bullet, of course. It was only 2 days ago. Ain't gonna be healed up yet. So I was, well, you know, I was worrying for you, man. Oh, L's bells. Mr. Graydon, did you hear that?
What?
Your comrade is worried about you, it seems. On account of your injured arm.
My lord. Yes, Mr. Graydon? I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly, I shouldn't be expected to answer anything in relation to their mindless insinuations.
We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. And from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm, or thereabouts. Perhaps you would allow the court official to examine your arm, sir? The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand, as if in pain.
No, I refuse. You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I am not obliged to permit any such invasion of my privacy. As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all this. I've never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery where this fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offense at the insinuation that I was in any way involved.
You claim to have nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Winniebank's pawnbrokery?
My lord,
The defense would like that last statement to be added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony.
very well, counsel.
Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon.
The bottom line is, I've never had anything to do with the pawnbrokering establishment where the man was killed.
Hold it! Never had anything to do with it? You forget that I was there, Mr. Graydon, on the very afternoon of the incident.
Obviously, I am not a complete stranger to the pawnbrokers. I'm currently on the lookout for an armchair to furnish my study.
Objection! No, you were there to redeem an article.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Excuse me! Do you have something to add, Inspector? Come again, sunshine. You were there too, in fact, weren't you, Inspector? The afternoon. Well, yes, I do remember being yourself in the pawnbroker that afternoon. You, your young Japanese assistant, and the accused were all present, as I recall. And at that time, this witness, Mr. Graydon, was trying to acquire a particular article. Well, now. I'm afraid I don't remember too clearly. What? But you must! I'm not going to lie, pretend I remember something that I don't. What's going on here? Gregsley showed us a picture before, didn't he? You know, from the cameras that Hurley installed in Windybanks. Yes, of course. Indeed, the gentleman pictured bears a striking resemblance to the witness, I must say. Exactly, which proves that Mr. Graydon was in the shop on the afternoon in question.
At no point have I denied that fact. I merely entered the shop to peruse the articles on sale and have a word with the broker. Nothing more.
This makes no sense. I understand why Mr. Graydon might be trying to cover his tracks. But why would Gregson be trying to avoid giving testimony about what happened? Is he a corrupt cop? Trying to cover up for the McGilded criminal empire? That's all he's going to say on the matter, is it? What do you think, Bruno? I think he has no intention of telling us anything. He's well aware that the less he says, the less chance he has of giving himself away. The complete opposite of Hurley, then. He seems to think that the more he says, the better. Well, at least I managed to prise a little more information from these witnesses' lips. All thanks to the Skulkin brothers. Yes, they were the key to it, after all. So he says he had nothing to do with Windybanks. Well, we know that's not true. Perhaps now would be a good time to have a proper look through the court record. Good idea. You never know what tiny scrap of information could be a valuable weapon. Oh, we include Gina's jacket? What card can we play here? Alright. He's only a pin him. Wait, did we ever press him on this?
Some scared moose detectives' homebrew tincture can hardly be taken as seriously.
Hold it! Don't forget, sir, that Mr. Sherlock Holmes is the most famous detective in the world.
And the most famous detective in the world tells the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
No. I can't think of how to answer that.
I once saw the world's most famous swindler thrown into jail. He allegedly told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but what turned out to be a pack of lies. Quite. Now, as you are no doubt aware, the Central Communication Station is the heart of this country's information network. My work there is of paramount importance, and you have kept me from it for long enough already.
I don't think I want me. This is definitely gonna be like the most incriminating evidence. He's obviously the one leaking secrets. But how do I pin this on him? This is the only thing we can press him on, because it establishes a clear lie. That's a provable lie. Everything else is like not possible. This is the bullet that was fired from the Skulkin brothers' gun on the night of the incident. Yes, so it turns out it never actually entered Hurley's body at all. Thanks to the thick leather of that pouch he was wearing, it saved him. Hurley's always lucky like that. Well, considering what he had to go through in the hospital, I wonder how lucky he really is. He really was. Oh dear, poor Hurley. Yeah, I don't think we're getting anything out of this. They presented this.
Objection!
Okay, what's this? Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Reardon?
Why? Is it supposed to mean something?
This disc was, until the day of his murder, in pawn in Mr. Winniebank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Jean Lestrade, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try to take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Was it, Mr. Reardon?
As I have reiterated numerous times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. I have never seen that disc before in my life.
It may have escaped your notice, but there is a small smear of blood on this. Oh, yes, resulting from an abrasion of the stone. perhaps. That's right. The surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, well, this bears the remnants of that skirmish in the form of this smear of blood. The thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch.
Good gracious! Indeed it must!
Mr. Graydon, you refused to allow the court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with the smear of blood on this disc.
Well, well. It would seem I underestimated you. What is the meaning of this?
So you admit it now. You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant?
Order! Order! Well, Mr. Graydon?
It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse.
What are you trying to say?
It's really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out of pawn?
What?
It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now. As you wish. Though I'm quite sure it has nothing whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker's murder.
Witness testimony. The disc.
There's a note on the disc saying, "For McGilded," but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterling, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night.
Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGilded, you say? The famous London philanthropist? Who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder?
Yes, my lord. The one and the same.
Good lord! Mr. Graydon! Are you saying that Mr. McGilded and yourself were acquainted?
Yes, that's correct.
Order! Well, I certainly didn't expect to hear that name uttered here in my courtroom again.
According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed in the pawn that on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGill himself gave instructions to deposit it at Windibanks. It's funny that Mr. Graydon here is claiming the disc belongs to him then, isn't it? In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon at Windibanks in order to get his hands on McGilda's disc for some reason.
Counsel, you commence your cross-examination, please.
The disc. There's a note on the disc saying, "For McGilded, but the item belongs to me."
Hold it!
Would you care to explain how this belongs to you?
As you will observe, a communication officer such as myself commands a fine salary.
You are certainly exquisitely dressed, sir.
So you see, I have little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbrokery trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse whilst on an errand. Which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat in the broker in question.
You claim that was your overcoat?
Obviously, and in my haste I clean forgot that the music box disc was in his pocket. And yet, there is a note on it that reads for McGilded. I'm a collector of rare and unusual music box discs. I first met Mr. McGilded at a gentleman's club in the city and was interested to discover that he shared my penchant in that area.
So, the disc in question?
It's a pre-production sample. I promised to let Mr. McGilded hear it. But then you forgot that it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn. Yes, exactly.
Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she?
No, because McGilded had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's going to expose Gina's perjury.
Oh dear. This is complicated, isn't it?
Let's leave it alone for the time being.
The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy girling, on the day in question.
Hold it!
So you're saying that Miss Lestrade lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag?
That's right. Despite being mindful of danger when walking in the insalubrious areas of her kind frequents.
Objection!
Miss Lestrade did no such thing.
Well, of course you would take that stance. But the girl is a regular offender.
You came to the pawnbrokery that day prepared with all the information you needed to identify the defendant. You're looking for her. That's what brought you to Windybanks. To get your hands on Mr. McGilded's disc.
Objection!
My learned friend is a veritable font of nonsense.
Nonsense? I concur with the prosecution. Counsel, you will refrain from conjecturing in this way. Is that clear? Yes, my lord.
Then I will continue with my testimony, for what possible use it can be. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article.
Hold it!
Have you ever been to Windybanks before?
Only once, for the purposes of pawning something. But, like many, I enjoy browsing in such establishments. So, when you noticed that the pickpocket had taken your ticket, you chased after her. Is that correct? Yes, that's right. I didn't notice at first, of course. Such is the art of the pick purse. But when I did, I headed to the pawnbrokery at once, in order to reclaim my coat before the thief could. I was merely trying to recover what was rightfully mine in the first place.
He can say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this.
In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police.
Hold it!
Yes, it was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it?
That's right. This was the very man. Apparently, the police are collecting anything that has a connection to Mr. McGilded as evidence.
Excuse me!
Is something wrong, Inspector? What do you mean? The last remark Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way. No, it didn't. It's nothing. Leave me alone. Let me ask you this, Inspector.
Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGilda's possessions?
I can't tell you something like that, sunshine.
What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets.
Yes, exactly. You should know all about that.
Magnus McGilden, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life. Yet, he had a darker side too.
Where are you going with this, Van Zeeks?
I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they?
That's enough. Coppers like me have duties to carry out that we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know.
Duties conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector.
The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're gonna need Lord Strongheart's paw print first.
What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zeeks here.
Whoa! It would appear that the inspector has revealed all he is at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let's return to your testimony.
Gladly, my lord. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night.
Hold it!
But perhaps you'd seen something of value among the forfeited items?
No, not at all.
Oh?
A valuer was brought in by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelves was common or garden bric-a-brac.
In that case, it's clear that you broke into the shop later that day in order to recover Mr. McGilda's disc.
Have you not been listening, man? Even if I had wanted to recover the disc, you may recall that it had been seized by the police that afternoon. It was no more in the shop that night than I. As I keep saying, I simply had no reason to break in.
So there was nothing left of Mr. McGilden in the shop that night. Nothing this man might have been after. I wonder if that's really true. I don't know. If you have some evidence, then let him have it. I'm dying to see that infuriating, absurd expression of his grumble. McGilda slipped the disc into his coat pocket and had it deposited at Windybanks. Then, when he realized he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina and forced her to take the redemption ticket. There's no doubt about it. That witness is lying through his pretty white teeth. The police were obviously after anything left behind by McGilda as well, or, yeah. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day. Now, Gregson's been very strange about all of this. There must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact that Mr. Graydon is lying in his testimony. Okay, so this is the one for the overcoat. That means this is the one that he probably wants.
Objection!
This disc was deposited at Windybanks on Magnus McGilda's instructions. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection!
Conjecture again. And in any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbrokery that night.
Objection!
Sorry, my learned friend.
But that's not true.
What?
Mr. McGillard had another article in pawn at Windybanks. As this second pawnbroker's ticket proves. There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGilded in Windybank's pawnbrokery. And the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one. Together we were 2 accomplices, the Skulkin brothers.
Ugh!
This is the second ticket, is it?
What had the man deposited?
The article description reads, 1 small box.
A rather vague description, it seems to me.
Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbrokery with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box?
I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did.
This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article has been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft.
That's a good point.
Indeed. The witness makes a solid argument.
So, that means that for some reason, this Greydon fellow needed the small box that very night, does it?
Objection!
It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord.
Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Van Zieks?
I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Windybank's pawnbrokery. And then rest assured, the prosecution can prove it.
What? Good gracious.
Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please.
Yes, sir.
What prints?
These prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras.
Ah! How are these red-headed recorders again?
As previously explained using this plan of the shop layout. The victim establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Windybank received his customers, and the other was set to capture the shelves on which the articles were placed for sale once forfeited.
According to the information on this ticket, McGilda's small box had been forfeited already. 2 days before the incident, at 9 p.m., on April 13th to be precise. Which means that it would have been on the shelves of the forfeited items in the shop front. Now, what I have here is a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That's at 11 p.m. on 15th April.
The small box.
The victim certainly had a very full shop, it would appear. And then here we have another print. This one was taken after 2 hours after the incident. Let's see. So we have 2 pictures to compare.
Stereoscope!
The box moved. Though I must say that placing them side by side leaves me cold. Dear me, that's starting to make my head ache. Obviously, At Scotland Yard, we consider theft as one possible motive in this case. We explored the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victims' lives. So, your men have already compared these two prints thoroughly, Inspector. Yes, sir. We counted every single item in each of these two photographed prints. And the Yard's conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both.
In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbrokery on the night in question, and my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy.
Ah!
I don't believe it.
If I could have just shown that he's stolen McGilda's pawn box. I might have been able to break him down at last.
You know what, Bruno? I've been thinking. I wonder if these two photographic prints really are exactly the same. What?
So, Counsel, in light of the evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems that, in fact, on the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion?
I don't know. Could there be some hidden discrepancy in these two photograph prints somewhere?
Let's use a piece of evidence.
Before I give my answer, my lord, I'd like to try something, if I may.
Try something? What do you mean, Counsel?
I'll need to use a certain piece of evidence from the court record to identify the discrepancy.
I'm not entirely sure I follow. Which piece of evidence do you intend to use to help you identify a discrepancy between the two prints?
Obviously, the music does. No, the stereoscope obviously does.
Take that!
I'd like to use this device, my lord, to view the two prints stereoscopically. Oh! Yes! You've got the bug of that! You can't resist it, can you? You've got the cross-eyed compulsion. Juror number 3. Juror number 3. What a surprise. Come on, Bruno. Let's put the two pictures in place and see what this wonderful contraption shows us. There we go. Now look through the eyepiece.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong box.
I wasn't sure at first, but
There's a clear discrepancy between these two prints. What? You must identify the location in question for the court, Counsel. Indicate the precise location of the discrepancy of which you speak.
Take that!
granted, these two prints are almost identical. However, there is one minor discrepancy between them.
What? Oh wow, it is like super obvious. Now I know what I'm looking for. I was looking at the blue box. Did not realize there's a brown box down there. When you view the two pictures stereoscopically,
a single area stands out as being different. The location of this small box.
let me wait. Oh, unbelievable. By Jove, you're right. How extraordinary.
What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGilda's small box was indeed not stolen from Windybanks on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked up this particular box and then returned it to its place on the shelves. Are you suggesting that the small box, originally deposited by Mr. McGilded, is in fact... Yes, the very same small box I just identified in those photographed prints.
Objection!
Mindless guesswork. What of it? So a box was moved on the shelf. Nothing was stolen. Which means, quite simply, that nothing has changed.
That may be true, but... Alright, McGilda's box wasn't stolen then. But doesn't the fact that it was moved like that change things? It changes everything! What was inside was taken. I believe this changes everything about the case.
How can that possibly be?
The crucial point is the fact that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at Windybanks as we speak.
Objection!
That won't be necessary. Some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago can't possibly be relevant to this trial.
The court does not uphold your objection, Lord Van Zieks. Bailiff, arrange for an officer to go to Baker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination. How long does it take to get to Baker Street? Oh, at least half an hour. We should have a report within half an hour. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth.
To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Disappointing.
I beg your pardon, Lord Van Zieks.
This is nothing but a smokescreen. A Nipponese specialty, it would seem.
What are you trying to say?
My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning, that this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGilded from the pawnbrokery. Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles have value enough to be worth stealing in the first place. Exactly. It would be beyond absurd to break into a place for the purpose of stealing such commonplace property. If your lordship recalls, Mr. McGilded perished 2 months ago, immediately after the conclusion of his trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which it was established he was an upstanding member of society, his reputation implied, in fact. So I propose a toast to my learned friend and his most insightful defense. The articles this upstanding member of society pawned were entirely ordinary. A black overcoat that just happened to have a music box disc in one of his pockets, and a small box. I assure you, I wouldn't accept even if the man tried to make a gift of such things to me.
You know, that doesn't make a rather lot of sense. It's not definitely was gold or jewels, is it? No, goodness, no, this big yellow isn't enough.
But you can't deposit cash at a pawnbrokery. Quite certain of that.
The prosecution argument is undeniably compelling.
It is incumbent on the defense now to bolster its argument. To explain what possible significance these commonplace articles pawned but this fine citizen could have.
Well, counsel, is your argument in fact demonstrable? Are you able to show proof that the disc or the box are in a tangible way related to this case?
Well,
What's the matter, Luno? We know that they're related, don't we? They're both vital pieces of evidence.
yes, of course. You and I both know that. We know McGilda's true character, and we know that this is significant, even if we don't know why.
But
if we explain all that to the court at this point, we'll have to acknowledge that McGilda's acquittal 2 months ago was a mistake. That the defense's argument was flawed, based on false information.
Oh no!
And that would mean admitting that Gina committed perjury.
But Ginny!
Could it be that Van Zeeks knows? Is that why he's doing this now? Because he anticipated everything?
But maybe... this could be a great opportunity for us.
Sorry? What do you mean, Iris?
Well, what is you always say, Luno? Sooner or later, the truth comes out. Every time.
Alright. The exact significance of the things that McGilda deposited with Mr. Winniebank is something that only Gina can explain to the court. But if I put her on the stand to testify about that, it could critically damage her chances of winning this case. What's the right thing to do here? We have to have Gina testify. My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal.
Oh, a proposal, counsel?
While the court awaits the arrival of Mr. McGilda's small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand.
The defendant? To what end?
It is to do with the various articles deposited at Winniebank's by Mr. McGilda, my lord. Miss Lestrade has information relating to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. It would prove the significance of the articles in question once and for all.
Well, well, things are becoming interesting. I presume you considered the implication of the testimony you're proposing. In particular, the impact it would have on the accused standing, and indeed your own.
I have.
Lord Van Zeeks, would you care to explain that last remark?
The prosecution accepts the defense's proposal. I move to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear the accused from the accused herself.
Very well. If you have no objections. So, the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. You witnesses currently in the stand may step down until further notice.
Then I shall bid you good day. Wait. You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Miss Lestrade testifies. As you wish.
Alright then, Gina. It's time. We know this will be hard, but please, put your faith in me here.
Good luck, Luno.
The articles that Mr. McGilded had deposited in Winniebank's pawnbrokery are intimately related with the omnibus case, the trial of which
was heard in this courtroom 2 months ago.
Yes, and I remember this young lady being brought before me in that trial as well.
That's right, my lord. Her testimony helped to establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. McGilden.
The omnibus case was intriguing, to say the least. And now we are here. And now here we are. Here we all are again, the same players in that trial, facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, my Nipponese friend.
Allow me to recap the events of 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death in an omnibus running along London's winter streets. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGilden. Naturally, he was the prime suspect for the murder. But as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged. That the murder, in fact, took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck, with the body then being dropped through the skylight into the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under the seat in the carriage, hoping to pick the pockets of unsuspecting passengers. Then, immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of the murder, Mr. McGilden died in this very courtroom in the most extraordinary of circumstances.
A mystery that remains unsolved even now, 2 months on. As indeed does the omnibus murder itself.
Be that as it may, I recall neither this nor this small box being mentioned in the course of those proceedings. Miss Lestrade, would you tell the court now, please, what really happened in the omnibus 2 months ago, I mean? I don't know what you mean. I already said all of what I know. And what about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell? Please, Miss Lestrade. This is extremely important. But...
Remember, little girl, if it transpires that you willfully withheld information in the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury. And naturally, you will lose all credibility as a witness. Although, let's face facts, you have little credibility to lose.
Ginny, don't listen to him. Please, you have to trust Bruno now. Alice, we're on your side. Alright then, I'll talk. It's the right choice, Gina.
Well, it would seem my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down about his ears. So be it.
I must confess that I'm struggling to understand what on earth is happening here. However, it would appear that Mr. McGilden's pawned articles and that extraordinary case of the omnibus harbor secrets of which we have hitherto unaware. So, Miss Lestrade, you will now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago. You reveal the truth, a commodity sorely lacking in your original test statements. This is it then. Everything's going to come out.
This is it then. Everything's going to come out. Like Van Zeke said. This could bring the whole courtroom down about my ears. But as a lawyer, I'm prepared to take that risk. Witness testimony. The real truth of the omnibus case.
Truth is, that brickmaker Cove was in the cabin of the omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw that disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I heard a scream from over me head, and that pair on the roof deck went off to call the slops. That's when McGilda slipped the driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one about what I'd seen or heard.
Good grief. This is outrageous. What you just told the court bears almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago. As you say, my lord. Then, there's every chance I may have adjudicated an error in McGilda's trial. It sounds very much to me as if the man deliberately deceived this court in an effort to cover up the most wicked of schemes. Without a doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in this courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused in that trial, of this witness, and of my learned friend, are extremely inexcusable.
I can't believe it. The whole trial was a farce. It's all lies. That Miss McGill, the fellow, was run to the core. Just like a pickpocket.
Don't forget the lawyers, please. We're all in on it together.
You're long, a lot of you. Mr. Naruto, the lawyer there, he didn't know nothing about it.
Humbug!
I don't think so. Are we really expected to believe that?
He really stitched everyone up, didn't he? What an operation to get the man off scot-free.
Unforgivable! Stop! The lies have to stop! Stop! Yes. The defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, it's imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony. Because the true significance of McGilda's pawn articles must be brought to light.
Very well, my learned student friend. Given the depths of calamity you have just plunged yourself into, this may be worth hearing.
Words fail me. The situation is utterly deplorable. Miss Naruto. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. Of course, my lord.
Blimey, Mr. Naruto.
Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. The real truth of the omnibus case.
Truth is, that brickmaker Cove was in the cabin of the omnibus the whole time.
Hold it!
And you were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Miss Lestrade? If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath one of the seats.
Yeah, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all.
Now, in your testimony 2 months ago, I feel certain that you claimed Mr. McGilda was the sole passenger, did you not?
A false testimony, my lord.
That's what he told me to say, that I had to say.
But it's important that you tell us the truth now. Were Mr. McGilda and the victim acquaintances?
I don't know. But I did hear him talking a lot.
What were they talking about?
Well, I couldn't hear too well, but if I had to say, I think it was about money or something. They kept talking about buying and not buying.
Perhaps business dealings of some kind.
Well, anyway, it got louder and louder. It started to sound like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by then. I already did breathe. And then, all of a sudden, I heard a noise like someone keeling over on the floor. It was moving loud and all.
I believe you let out an involuntary scream.
Yeah. That's what gave me away. When the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw the disc on the floor.
Hold it!
Was this you saw? This disc?
Yeah, I reckon it probably was. It was right next to the cove lying on the floor.
Could this disc have belonged to the victim, perhaps?
I don't know, but Mick Gilded picked it up pretty smartish. And then he sat the cove with the knife in his belly up upon the seat.
What did he say to you at that time?
He told me not to say a word about what I seen or heard to no one. About the disc and all. I was dead scared. The way he was looking at me though. I thought, if I didn't go along with it, I get stuck with that knife too. Then he started asking me a load of questions, like what my name was and where I lived and that. He asked me about being a diver too.
But after a while, what happened in the carriage? What happened in the carriage with Nose?
Yeah, that's right. First there was kind of a kind of rapping noise. All of a sudden, I heard a scream from over me head, and that pair on the roof deck went off to call the slops.
Hold it!
There were two gentlemen occupying the seats on the roof deck, I believe.
That's right. They must have looked down through the skylight and noticed the cove with the knife in his guts. When I screamed, the driver pulled up on the horses and Mick Gilded got me out of sight.
Out of sight? Where?
Back under the seat where I started off. Once the carriage came to a halt, the two coves from the roof ran off to fetch the slops.
If they immediately left to fetch the police, it would appear they were entirely unrelated to the incident. So that left McGilded, the driver, and you still at the scene.
Yeah, only the driver didn't know I was there because I was under the seat. I heard the cabin door open and a voice from outside.
The driver, yes. He also testified in the trial, I believe. A fellow who went by the name of Beppo, if memory serves. What did McGilded and the driver say to each other?
I don't know what happened and stuff like that mainly. That's when McGilded slipped the driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout.
Hold it!
That pawn shop obviously being Windy Banks on Baker Street. Just a moment, Counsel. Do you mean to tell me that the driver gave false testimony in that trial as well? Perhaps the excursion to the pawnbroker slipped his mind when he was in the stand. Indeed, Lord Verdix.
McGilded took off his coat and gave it to the driver. He folded it up, all careful like, before I ended it over. When I saw him do that, I remember thinking, that coat and what's in it, it's got to be worth a few bob. Yes. Gina was sure that this must be worth more than Mr. Windybank was suggesting, wasn't she? I remember her quibbling with him over the price that afternoon at the pawnbroker. The driver looked pretty happy when McGilded flashed some brass in his face. He went running off at a lick. Then the bog trotter called to me and told me to come out from the drag's cabin. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to do no one about what I'd seen or heard.
Hold it!
Threaten you how exactly? Told me I'd only be a scrape. Told me I'd only be able to scrape her if I did exactly what he said.
Which included giving false testimony in court 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's it. And there's one other thing he said.
Which was?
He told me I have to hang on to the ticket from the pawn shop to make sure not to lose it. And make sure not to lose it.
The ticket? Well, I never.
Said that if he didn't show up to get the ticket off me before 2 months passed, I had to go to the pawn shop and pay the money to keep it in luck, to stop it from being forfeited. He left me with some brass to pay for it.
But really, why on earth would Mr. McDonald have done such a thing? Depositing his overcoat with a pawnbroker before the arrival of the police. It makes no sense at all.
There would seem to be only one logical explanation, my lord. What McGilded had the driver deposit at Windybank's was something he didn't want the police to see. Something very important that he needed to hide at all costs. Anyway, after that, he let me go, so I left it before the coppers showed up. Well done, Gina. It can't have been easy to tell the truth like that. Ginny's really putting her faith in you, Runo. Yes. And to thank her, she'll have to face the charge of perjury once this trial is over. So I need to use the time we have now to get as much information out of her as possible. It's time to really go for it. Press her on every statement. I suppose I should. Oh, and another thing. What's that? Take a look at those two. Isn't it strange that they have been whispering to each other the entire time? Yes, it is strange. It looks like they're having a secret discussion about something. I'm not sure I'm completely comfortable about that. I wonder if there's anything I can do about that.
And we'll learn what we can do about that next time. Because it's time for me to call it a day.
Whew.
The pieces of the puzzle are finally falling into place. Soon, we'll learn the truth behind the stabbing of the brickmaker. Who is this Sir Grayson? Grayson? What's his name? Graydon. And what's the conspiracy that apparently Gregson and Van Zeeks are privy to? Tomorrow's gonna be an exciting explanation, I suppose. Until then, thank you everyone who joined me today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!